every single person has dropped the same review about the same piece of gear every single time, and you're always like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can even afford that. It's so freaking expensive. Yeah. Same here, bro. But today, I'm gonna break that issue down for you and let you know that you do not have to pay over $2,000 or buy an entire case of lenses for you to take some bangers of whatever car you're shooting. I would know. I don't use that one, I don't use that one, I don't use. So stick with me, I have some stuff for the beginners as well as a little bit of something for those who have been shooting for a little bit. You see, you technically only need one lens to take bangers of whatever car you are shooting, but I'm gonna hook you up with two other ones that are dope, they don't break the bank, and one of them is less than 30 bucks. But we'll get there later. This is my lens suggestion for anyone who's getting started in photography, or actually, even if you've been in it for a while. But if you want to shoot cars, actually, it's even shooting pretty much anything. It's a 24-70. But hold on, there's a little bit more to it that meets the eye. I'm trying to teach you how to fish here, not just give you a fish. For the people that want to fish, it's a 24-70. But for the rest of you who are smart and wise, here's a couple things to take note of for whatever lens you're looking for. 24-70, all that means is that it zooms from 24mm to 70mm. First, if you have a crop sensor camera, maybe like an A6400, you are going to need a 16-35, not a 24-70. Here are some examples of some crop frame cameras. I don't want to get too technical about this, but just to keep it simple, sticking with our same A6400 example, that thing crops in 1.5x times. So 1.5 multiplied by your focal length will give you the number what it truly is. It's because focal lengths are actually measured on full frame cameras, not crop sensor cameras. So 16-35 on a crop sensor camera, 24-70 if you're on a full frame, ish. Yeah. Just do a quick Google search and you'll be straight. To my fishermen, keep in mind that 24mm is going to be probably the best lens for whenever you want to shoot something wide. If you go any wider than that, you might start getting warping on the sides. Doesn't mean you can't do that. It's just that you have to be a little bit more sensitive to how close you are getting to certain things. Now, when it comes to car photography, many times you don't want to alter the way the car actually looks. You want to make it look true to life. Being careless and shooting wider than a 24mm might get you into that range of like, hey, let's be careful. So if you are going to shoot at 24mm, make sure that you're looking at those edges. Make sure that your straight lines are straight and you're not getting too close to be able to warp something that you don't want warped. I like to be lazy too and just move that thing wide, but if you can, walk around, use your legs, get some exercise, it helps. All right, 70mm is just tight enough to send you into Bocaville, baby. That's right, we're in Bocaville. That just means you're in Blurry Background City. At the 70mm mark, this is kind of like a cheat code because the tighter the focal length or the bigger the number on a lens, technically you can say that it gives you more bokeh or more blurry background. It's just that everything is being squeezed in the background, so it just kind of makes it seem a little bit creamier. 70mm is just enough to compress everything without having to invest like $3,000 in a 70-200. A 24-70 can run you about this much money. Next, I'm about to get a lot of hate for what I'm about to say right now. You don't need a G Master or the Red Ring or the most premium. You don't need it. You don't need it, dog. Who cares? For 80% of people, you just need something decent. I feel there are way more other elements that affect somebody's final product of a photo than just the lens in many cases. Composition, lighting, the time of day, even editing. Talking to you, Mr. Clarity. Okay, so unless you're pixel peeping or you're blowing it all up to a billboard, you know what, let me say this, man. The majority of you guys that are shooting for something, you're probably gonna put it on TikTok or on Instagram, or you're gonna give it to a client who they're just gonna put it on Instagram or to Facebook anyway, and Instagram is gonna compress your itch anyway, so why y'all tripping right now? Sorry, I got a little hot right there. So here is a good suggestion. Tamron, 28-75, 24-70, close enough. Costs this much, baby. Yes, sir. That is a good price. Trust me, when I was first getting into this, I was like, dude, this is way too expensive. Yes, I agree with you, but unfortunately, this is the nature of the beast. This is typical about how much you can invest into a lens. This is the only lens I use for like 3 or 4 years. Trust me, you can get by with it. Here's the next best thing you gotta know about lenses and specifically about this Tamron. It is f2.8, that is just the aperture, meaning that it's gonna get wider, it's gonna allow for more blurry background as well as be able to perform better in low light without having to crank your ISO and make the image look dirty. Respectfully, if that went over your head, click this video up here, it will explain a little bit more about camera basics. Should probably remake that video. So make sure it's f2.8. As far as I'm concerned, anything that is f4 or higher, I don't feel is worth it. To me, f4 doesn't provide you with enough bokeh or blurry background. Hey, that's just me. People can debate me in the comments. That's perfectly fine. That's just my 2 cents. Another thing to keep in mind whenever you're looking at lenses is that if it says something like f3.5 to f5.6, that means that when you zoom in, it's only going to go as low as 5.6. And then whenever you zoom all the way out, the lowest it goes is at 3.5. I suggest staying away from these lenses. This is typically what you call a kit lens, which typically doesn't really perform the best. There's a reason why they throw in this lens with the camera body many times. So always look for something that is a consistent aperture or an f4 or just like an f2.8, something that's consistent, doesn't matter how far you zoom it in or zoom it out. And fun fact, I'm working on a video that's called like what photographers don't want you to know about taking photos, something like that. It's about aperture and stuff like this and what settings, but if you want to see that, go ahead and hit the like button and I'll make that for you guys because I'm here for you. So if you didn't catch any of that, marry your lenses and date your bodies. Of course, high five. Oh yeah, give me a high five. We're still working on it. That means if you're gonna invest in something, invest in your lenses because the bodies, you're probably gonna upgrade every 3 to 4 years anyway. So just to recap, 24 to 70 equivalent. Next thing, make sure that your aperture is something consistent. I suggest an f2.8. Next, it doesn't have to be the top of the line. Also, when it comes to lenses, as long as they're in good shape, buying used is perfectly fine. One of the ones that I suggest is a budget-friendly option, and it does a great job, is a Tamron 28 to 75 millimeter. I'll be sure to put the links in there so you can find them easier. Now look, zooms are really cool, but once you have tasted that sweet, sweet nectar of prime lenses and f2 and faster and the juiciness and sharpness of it all, you'll understand why people buy cases of lenses. You're probably not gonna wanna shoot with zooms anymore. At least that's what happened to me. So the bonus lens for you guys is a prime. It is a 50 millimeter. You've heard it, the nifty 50, all that good stuff. Well, there's a little bit more to it than just a 50 millimeter. Typically these things are pretty expensive, but they don't have to be. You've seen it, you've heard it. There is a nifty 50. It's less than $200 across all the brands that you can find. Stupid cheap, stupid good. These puppies are typically f1.8. Oof. Now we're in Bokehville, baby. I use it in my camera basics video and you can definitely get some bangers with it, but you know, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it for you, so here it goes. The bad about these nifty 50s. Your autofocus may struggle. I shot in daylight, wide open at f1.8, and my mess was hunting back and forth constantly. And in some cases, depending on your camera, if you're shooting in low light, it's gonna be even worse because there's really no contrast to be able to pick up where it's supposed to be focusing on. Easiest way to fix this is to shoot manual like my cousin, but should be able to get you by even though it's annoying. So let's recap. 50 millimeters for 200 bucks is a steal. As long as you're good with the autofocus working 80% of the time, you should be straight. But if you can suck it up and swing it, there is a lens for Sony that I use, which is a 55 millimeter. It is very sharp and it is not going to break the bank as bad as you may think. Used, I think that mess is going for like 400 bucks. That is a massive jump in quality compared to like the 50 millimeter that's significantly cheaper. You ain't gonna see me spending over $1,000 on some Sony f1.2 lens, unless Sony gives it to me. Then I'll ask for 2 and give one of them to one of you, and I'll keep the other one, because that'd be nice, right? I mean, if it was free, come on, you'd do it too. I'm cool with this 55 millimeter lens, and I think that you'd be okay with it too. Between both of these lenses, you're gonna be strapped for whatever car that you're going to shoot. This is one of my secrets, and it's only like 28 bucks. It don't matter if you win by a lens or a mile. Winning is winning. You get it? It's like Fast and Furious, but it's like, it's because it's an adapter. It's not a lens, it's actually an adapter. You see, the reason why it's funny is because
winning's winning.
If you've been shooting for a while and you're kind of tired with your photography and you just want like a different look to something, this is a really cheap way to kind of get you re-inspired if you need to. These adapters make any lens you have into a macro lens. Whether you're shooting some stitching or logos or any kind of detail shots, this just looks so good. You shoot Sony, Canon, Fuji, Nikon. It's just a joke, man. I got all the links in the description for you guys, regardless of what camera brand you are using. I got you. And smash the like button. Look how it lights up. Isn't that cool? That's cool, right? All right. Okay, bye.